If you want to create an Excel dashboard, an advanced Excel dashboard, this particular class right here will definitely help you to transform this particular raw data, this one and this one, into something like this. So if you look at it, we have 3 different tables. So if you're a basic Excel users, you might be tempted to actually use VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index and match, or any other function or lookup function available to connect these particular 3 tables together. But in this particular case, we don't do that. You can actually look at what I've done right here. Go to Manage under Power Pivot and click on this. Then you're going to see that we have actually created relationships between our tables, right? And we have our table right in here. So another beautiful part of this is that we cleaned our data with our Power Query. If I go over here right now, go to Queries and Connection. Now we have our 3 tables right here. If I double click on this one, it has it open. As you can see, we have 4 different tables here. The last one here is actually our calendar table, which means we build our custom calendar in order to actually, have a nice looking report using time series and stuff like that. I'm going to show you how to create all of this and have something as beautiful as what you can see right now on my screen created. If this is your first time, hitting this particular channel, the very first thing you have to do is to make sure you click on the subscribe button, share, and as well ask questions in the comment section. If there is something you're getting wrong that you don't understand, I'm going to be right there to actually assist you and make sure you have a successful class with me. So I believe this particular dashboard will definitely give you everything you need to actually work with raw data. Let us get into the class. Well, before you go, I have a course on Microsoft Excel and Power BI together, where I'm going to show you how to actually use Microsoft Excel from elementary down to advanced level and actually switch you to Power BI, where I teach you about Power BI, everything you need to know to create great reports and great dashboards. So let us get into the class. The course link is actually on the description box, or you can actually go to the comment section and find out for yourself. So you're welcome. Here are the data set we're going to be using for this particular project. So we have the sales, we have product, and we have customers. So if you actually are a basic Microsoft Excel user, you might be tempted to actually use VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index and match to actually bring those tables together. But we are not going to do any of that. So what do we need to do instead? Let us go over to sales table. So click anywhere. So make sure it's actually on a table format, right? So if it is not on a table format, all you have to do is to Ctrl+T to actually convert it to a table. Over here, you have to make sure this one is actually a date format as well. So from there, go to the top ribbon and click on data. From data, you can see over here, we have this particular part, which is our from table range. So what we're going to do right now, we want to pick this particular data into Power Query. So go ahead and click on From Table, Range. Here you go. We now have our data inside Power Query, and the data is actually cool, but not as cool as what we want. So we have to just do a little cleaning here. The first thing we have to do is to click on this particular part. So we're changing the data type to date, not date and time. So what we have right now is date and time, which is this very one. So now we select date. So just add a new step. In case you want to actually disallow the step, you can actually remove the step. So watch what happens when I actually click on new step here. So we have here called applied step. On this particular applied step, whatever you do would actually start accumulating itself right in here. So which means you can time travel to re-edit your queries. So that is what it is. So I'm going to click on add, and the step is added and it says change type. So you can rename it to whatever you like. So maybe you want to rename it to dates data type. something like this, that is some kind of descriptive enough to anybody who is going to take a look at our back end. So once we have done that now, we have to investigate and see if we have any other column that needs to be fixed, right? So you need to understand about, understand data types, right? To be able to fix all of this. So I think everything here looks quite okay right now. Right here, we are cool. So we have gotten this in. We have to name this table to something different, not table one. Let us name it transaction. So here is our transaction table. Once we have done this, the next thing we have to do right now is to go over to here where it says close and load. So once you click on it, you have two options. The first option is close and load. So what happens when you use this? This is going to be loaded into Microsoft Excel worksheet interface where you're going to see it physically. So if you click on close and load to, this is going to give you an option on how you want to load this. So as you have already known, Microsoft Excel is only capable to house less than 2 million rows. So if you want to handle 10 million rows, this is the feature you have to use. Right away, I'm going to click on create only connection and add this data to the data model. You get it now? So if I click on OK, you wouldn't see the data physically, imputed itself right on this particular part here. I'm going to show you, if you made a mistake, how you can actually correct it as well. We still have this data here, but the original data, or the formatted data rather, has been shifted into a different machine. Okay, click on your product over here. Make sure you actually select the table itself. Go over here, data from table range. So now we just have to rename this table to product. So we can name it to dim product. Dim simply means dimension. Product. So I'm not going to go into detail on what you need to know about different stuff right here. I'm just going to show you the result, but not show you the result without telling you why we have gotten the result. I am going to be a little bit basic about this, but if you want to actually learn something useful that can actually help you in your career, be it you as a beginner or an intermediary, or you're already working, just pick up my course. It's going to help you to learn about Microsoft Excel from the scratch to advanced level, and as well take you to Power BI and create a very solid project in both Excel and Power BI. Okay, now over here, everything looks quite okay. We don't have any issue with this. Just go ahead and close and load to. So we can create only connection and add this to the data model. Then we click on OK. So as you can see, it's loading itself right here. Then the last one is going to be this very one here. We have to do the same exact thing again. So we just from table range. So once we have this done, quickly, let us name this one dim for dimension. So underscore customer. So this is our customer table. On this particular customer table, we're going to come back here to actually, create the age range. But for now, we're going to leave it the way it is right now. And just go ahead and load this straight up to here. So I'm going to create only connection, then do this. And here we go. We have our tools table right in here. So this is fantastic. We don't have too much data or too much rows. We only have 5,000, 50, and 300 different customers right in here. Okay, the next thing we have to do is to look at where our data is. So I'm going to go over here and now click on Power Pivot. Then you can see here manage. So click on manage. Under manage, you now have something like this here. So you have the transaction, you have the product, you have the customer. So this is it. So you now have your data right in here. So what we are known for is to actually create a giant table, as I've said earlier, using XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, index and match, or any other lookup function. But right here, we are not going to do any of that. Instead, we're going to use this particular diagram view here. On the diagram view here, we have our table here. Let us create what we call star schema, which is linking our tables together. To get that done now, we have to look at what is common between two of them is the product ID, which is found right in here. So first of all, let us understand what are those particular tables for. This very table here is your transactional table. On this particular table, you actually have what I call duplicate values right in here. You have duplicate values right in here. You get it now? So you do have duplicate values here. But on this particular other tables, like this very table here, this particular one, and this one, so you actually have unique lists of values right here. So which means that are not duplicates. That is why we call it dimensional table. So another name we can actually call this particular dimensional table here is actually lookup table. You get it right now. You can call it lookup table, or you call it dimensional table, right? So the lookup table contains unique value, unique list of value, no duplicate. One customer appears once in your customer table. One product appears once in your product table, but it can appear many times here. And over here, what we have is the ID. So to connect them together right now, you can drag this particular product ID onto this particular one. It will create many-to-one relationship for you. Can you see it right now? You have one here. If you have the asterisk here, it simply means you have many products appeared here. You can drag from here to the customer ID here. And what you're going to have is, many to one as well. One here, one customer appeared here. The customer made multiple transactions over here, or multiple purchases right here. Can you see it now? So if we go back to this particular view, nothing changed. So we still have the same exact thing here. So we need to actually create one more table. So in Excel, we have limitation on dates. So when we actually use basic Excel calculations, we don't have all the dates we want. But let me show you what I'm talking about. To step off from here now to Excel interface, we can click over here and it bounces us right in here. So if I still want to go back and create my pivot table, click on Power Pivots and now Manage. So let us go over here to Pivot Table here and can create a pivot table from here. Then you actually use the new worksheet, not existing one. Then click on OK. So now you have this. So if there is no point in seeing this here, you can actually go ahead and close it. I'm going to show you how to open it back when the time comes. So click back here now. So you don't have anything to work with. What you need to do is just to right click, and from here you click on Show Field List. Then here you go, you have all of this. So forget about those particular tables you have right here. So our concentration is going to be on this, and this, and one other table we're going to create. So let me quickly show you one thing to know the reason why we are going to do that. So over here, I'm going to bring in my date into here, right? So automatically, Microsoft Excel grouped my date for me into, year, quarter, and month. So what if I want to have weekday? There is no provision for that by Microsoft. So I can actually create my own weekday using Power Query. What if I want to have week types like weekend and weekdays? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, down to Friday, whatever. You have to do all that all by yourself. We can't do it through here. So that is why using Power Query to actually transform your data is a must. So my course will definitely teach you all of this. All you have to do is to sign up for my course and see what you can do to learn Microsoft Excel like a pro. So what I'm going to do right now, if you look at it, I don't have anywhere to click over here to go to Power Query. Even though if I click on this particular one here, I still don't have any means to go to Power Query. So what are we going to do? That was because we have actually turned that feature off. So what do we do instead? Click over here, go to data, and now we click over queries and connections. So while we clicked on queries and connection, we can now hover on any of the tables here, step into it and click on edit, or you can double click over here. It will bounce you back to Power Query. So we are right on Power Query. So we want to create a date table that is going to be dynamic. So to do that now, we have to click on transaction here, right click, and you go ahead and duplicate, not delete, duplicate. So once we have it duplicated, we have this. The only thing we need from here is the date column. Right click and go ahead and remove other columns. So now we have this. This particular table we have created right now has a relationship with this particular table. So anytime we have a new date or any transactional date get populated right in here, automatically it will actually reflect into this particular new table. So what do we need to do next? We have to change the name. We can double click over here and name this one to calendar. So once you have done this, it is time for you to start working on it. So right away, if we leave it this way, it's not going to work. So we have to remove the duplicates and keep unique list of what? Of table, of column right here. So all you have to do is to right click and find where it says remove duplicates. So we now have unique list of our dates here, which means we have to connect this particular calendar to the date column we have right inside our transactional table. That will give us one-to-many relationship as well. So going back to calendar now, it is time for you to start adding columns to it. To do that, you need to understand the difference between transform and add column. I wouldn't go into detail about this. My course will teach you everything you need to know about this. So transform here means you're transforming the existing column without adding a new column, while add column simply means you're actually adding a new column from the existing column. You get that right now. So that is what you're going to do. I'm going to use both of them, transform and add column. Currently, I'm clicking on add column. So what do I need to do? Let's go over to date here. On that date, you can see you have the year. You can actually click on it, and the year got extracted from here. That doesn't affect what we have right here. We still have it intact, right? So click back here to actually extract another thing you really want to use. The next thing we want to use right now is going to be the month. So under add column, go over here and go to this particular part here and click on month. So once you do this now, what we have here, if I click on the drop down here now, we have 1 to 31. That is, 1 to 12, the 12th month of the year. So this is my month number. This month number is here for a reason. So we have to differentiate it from others, like month number, like this. Okay, so click on this right now and extract the right month. So the month names. So over here, click or hover on month, and here name of month. So here is it, month name. So the next thing we have to look at right now is that this is huge. We don't have to have the full August, the full February, January, and all of that. So we need to have the shorter format. So how do we do that? This is where we have to learn how to use the transform part here. Under the transform part, you can actually go to format. And from format, you actually choose, extract. From extract, you choose the first character. So once you have done that, you choose how many characters you want to keep. Then others will be gone. So 3 characters. If I go ahead and click on OK here, so it's gone. You can see how swift Excel could be if you know how to use it rightly. The next thing we have to do right now is to go over here again. So while we are here, we want to actually add the weekdays. Right? So to do that now, we quickly go over to add column. From add column, we click on this and we go to week. And we can see week of year. So week of month, all of that. So we now have day. So we have day. We have name of day here. We have day of year. Depends on what you really want. So let us go with name of day. With our name of day, we have this. Then if I click on it now, we can do exactly we have done before. So click on transform, then go over to extract the first 3 characters. Then let's do this. We have the shorter format of it. So in case you want to sort your Day, rightly. Let us go ahead and do this. I don't know where that is, but I think I can find it under week. So week of month, I presume. Week of month. Let's go 1 to 6. I'm not sure if this is required, but I'm just going to leave this here. We can come back here and actually, reformat this if need be. So, another thing I want to add right now is to add weekend or weekday. So if you look at it, in my country, we actually observe weekend on Sunday and on Saturdays, right? Sunday and Saturdays. So if we want to actually add weekend and weekday right now, so we need to go to add column, and this time around it's going to be conditional column. So with the conditional column, I'm going to call this one week type. So over here, I'm going to select my day name. So the day name here carries my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday down to the last day of the week. So over here, I'm going to say if day name is equals to sun for Sunday, then give me weekend. So add another clause here again, and I'm going to say day name again. So over here, it's going to be if day name is actually Sat for Saturday, then it's actually going to be weekend. Otherwise, it should be weekday, right? So go ahead and click on OK over here, and that gives you something like this. So if you want to look at what is going on here, so we can select the weekend. So weekend falls to Saturday and Sunday over here. Can you see that now? This one is not required. I'm going to remove it later after all. So now over here, I can just go ahead and have this clear, no filter, clear filter. So this is what we actually require to have this created. So what else do we actually need to add right now? That is the quarter. The quarter is important. Always make sure you go to the first column we have here, highlight it and go to add, then go to this particular date. You're going to see Q for quarter here and quarter of the year. So we're going to have 1 to 4 rather, the 4 quarters. So what I've done now is not really cool because numbers looks like values like quantity whatsoever. This is not making any sense, and Microsoft Excel will find it hard to know where to actually push this into when you're trying to analyze the data. So what I'll do now is to quickly go ahead and click on add or transform. On that transform, we click on this particular format here and we click on add prefix. So once you click on add prefix, you add Q to it, just Q. And once you click on OK right now, it has transformed this into quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. This is what it is, Q1 to Q4. So click over text here. And here you go. So everything here looks quite okay. Is okay. So the next thing we have to do right now is to go ahead and go to home. So we have to close and load too. But what if I made a mistake to click on close and load? So this is going to actually go into a worksheet, and that is not what we want. We have to create a relationship. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, I think because this was created from transaction, it was not doing that. I wanted to show you something, but unfortunately I couldn't. But that will actually be, you can catch that in my course. If you've taken my course, you'll see when you made a mistake to push it into the worksheet, how you can actually take it back to the Power Pivot or the data model, wherever it is. Okay, so let us go and verify if we have it right here. Click on Manage Data Model. So right now we have the calendar here. So with our calendar here right now, if we go to diagram, we have to connect it. So how do we do that? You can actually push this one over here and have this one in the middle of it, right? Then date to date. Date to date. If I mistakenly plug it at the wrong place, look at what happens. It doesn't really tell me that, oh, what you've done is wrong. And this is wrong, absolutely. So the only time you're going to know that you have done something wrong is when you're trying to use this particular, any of these columns here to analyze your data. It wouldn't plot the right values for you. Then you are going to know that you have done something wrong. So what do we do now? We can double click over here. So once you double click over here, you can see the mapping is wrong. So why would we map order ID to date, which is wrong? So there should be a switch. The switch now should be dates here to the date we have right in here. So to get that done now, we just have to click over here and we have done the right thing. So go ahead and click on OK. So this is done rightly. If I now hover over it, you can see here now, based on what I've done, take a look at it. Now we have it mapped rightly. Okay, this is cool. I'm going to show you something quickly. Let us go to Excel interface. And over here, if I click on this and go over to here, you can see I have all the columns showing up here. I don't need all of those columns here. So if I click on product, I have my ID showing up here. If I click on customer, I have customer ID showing up here. There is no need for me to even show them any longer because I'm not going to use them. So what do? I go back to my manage data model and click on the data view. From data view right now, I'm going to hide what I don't need. So from this particular table here, what I don't need is this particular date column. It has been used to actually create connections. So right click and click on hide. So here is hide from client tools. It has been hidden. I don't need to use this number. I can click on hide to have it hidden. So the month number here is for a reason. Let me quickly show you why I have this particular month number right in here. So I'm going to quickly go back here. So from here, make sure this particular first pivot table created is clicked on. So switch to here and go over and drag this away from here. We don't need any of this here. So once we have done that, let us go into our own calendar. So right inside our calendar, we want to pick the month name into here. So look at what is going on here now. The month is actually starting from April down to September. So it doesn't really matter if we have any value right in here. Let us go to our transaction now and bring in our quantity and see if that will fix it for us. So total quantity doesn't fix it. It's still starting from April down to September. So how do we now fix it? So we go back to our manage data model. So while we are here, we need to actually select the one now and go over to sort by column and choose sort by column again. Then over here, we select the column we want to use to sort it. So we sort it by the month number we created, this one. Remember, this is the month number right in here. Then go ahead and click on OK. So with this now, we have solved the problem. Let's get back here. Can you see now from January down to December? If you have not done this before, please let me know in the comment section if you're actually seeing this kind of advanced analysis inside Microsoft Excel for the first time, right? Okay, so let us quickly go back and reduce some things we don't actually need to be on the client view. So right now the month number is not monitored, so I'm going to have it hidden as well. So those are the ones I want to have hidden. Let's go to the customer table. On the customer table, there is no need for you to keep the customer ID. Don't delete it. Instead, have it hidden. Right? So what else? We go to the product. The ID is not needed for any analysis. We have used it to create connection. Have it hidden. Under the transaction here, we are going to hide our date column. We have used it to create connection. Have it hidden. The order ID, we don't need it. Have it hidden. The reason why we're not deleting them is that if we delete them, it's going to affect our analysis. Specifically, if that column has been used to actually create connection between other tables, you can't delete them. So we have the product ID hidden. We have this particular customer. The employee ID, we don't need it. We can actually delete this one. This one is not going to be needed because we don't even have employee table. So we can actually delete this particular column. So you can delete it from here. So this is what it is. You can't delete from here because this is not where you have your data primarily writing. So if you want to have it deleted, you have to go to Power Query. So in our own case, let us go ahead and have it hidden. So nicely done. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and this one was created for me when I actually, did that particular date to show you how dates were being grouped. So I'm going to have it hidden as well. So have this one hidden, then finally have this particular one here hidden. So once I've done this right now, it is time for me to go ahead and take a look at what we have. You can see over here now under transaction, we don't have too much things right here. So quantity and this unit price is what is active right here. And those are what I really need. And this is fine. So I'm going to tell you firsthand that we have successfully, transformed and loaded our data in. The next thing we have to do right now is to start analyzing our data. So which means we can rename this one now to analysis. So now we have to prepare our dashboard environment. So we already have analysis. Over here, I'm going to name this one dashboard. Dashboard here. So with the dashboard here, let us turn this off and bring them up when we need them. So over here now, we just have to maintain what we have here. So go over to view. In case you don't have this, maybe you have the default view like this. This is what you actually have at default when you installed Microsoft Excel. So to create a great dashboard, just go over here and say hide, auto hide ribbon. Then once you have done that, go back to the top ribbon again by clicking over here and go to view and go over to hide grid lines and hide headings. And as well, the formula bar should be turned off. Although in the middle of the class, we're going to be turning the formula bar on and off to have a great view. So this is what we have for the first time. The next thing we have to do is to Control A to select every single thing. And now we go over to the top here, we go to home. From home, we click on this particular part and we click on this very one here. So we have just changed the background, and the background I'm using right now is this particular white that has 5% darker. So once we have this is great. I have already selected the colors I'm going to use in this particular dashboard. So let me show you the website you can actually get colors from. So over here, you go to Adobe Color Wheel. Can you see it right here? So while you are here, you click on Adobe Color. Once you click on Adobe Color here, it's going to open up this website for you. Just give it some time. So while you are here, you click on Explore. So if you click on Explore here, you're going to see this particular website will give you default colors that it already mixed for you. So whenever you want to use any one of them, just click. And all you have to copy is the color codes from here. So let me show you how to mix your own personal color. So while you click on Explore, you're going to see this particular search bar here. Let's say you want to use something like a purple color, but you don't know what other colors you can actually mix up with purple. You just have to just type in purple and hit your enter key. Then leave the work to Adobe, color here to mix up purple for you. Can you see it now? This is it. All those colors that you have right here right now goes along with purple. Can you see it? Do you see it now? You can use those particular colors here. But this is one thing I always tell people. Don't use lots of colors on your project. So now we have how many distinct colors here? We have 5. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, and we have 5. So you can choose the top best 3 colors here that can actually give you what you want. So in my own case, I already have my color selected. It's just for me to show you where you can actually mix your colors from in case you don't know how to get your color mixed. Up for you. Okay, now we have settled this particular background color over here. The next thing we have to do right now is to actually create some couple of KPIs. So what I'm going to do for the first time is just going over to Insert here. And under Insert, I'm going to go over to Illustrations, go to Shapes, and you have lots of shapes here that you can actually use. So let me go for this particular one. So drag it down here. This is what you have. So now I want to change the color of this shape. With my Control 1, I bring up this. So while we have this on the screen, we can go ahead and go to Line and say No Line. You get it? So go over to Fill. Now click on this particular part here and choose the color you want to use. In my own case, I'm going to select this particular more color. Then over here, I can change the color to give me what I want. So in case you are using a version of Microsoft Excel that does not have the hex code, let me give you the red color. The red code is actually 92. Then the green here is 112, while we have the blue to be 107. Can you see this now? Then go ahead and click on OK. So in case you have the hex code, this is the hex code you can actually type in. It will give you the same RGB we have right in here. Click on OK. This is what we have. Great, right? Okay. Let me just take this one down. For the time being, I'm going to create something over here. So something like this. And not too big. This is just the size I want to have. Something like this here. So before we go on, let us go ahead and click on this part here, a text box, and type in the name of your dashboard. Mine is just Sales Dashboard, right? So maybe it could be the name of your company. Who knows? So go over to this particular part here and increase its size. The font size should be increased like this here. So make sure this actually sits rightly at this very spot here. So what we need to do right now is to go over here, take off the border and the fill color. And now we can change the color through here by clicking over here. We want to select the same color we are using for our card here. We don't want something too bright or too dark. So I'm going to keep this over here like this. Okay. So on this particular one, you can just shift it a little bit. Something like this is actually cool for me, right? So I can move it down a bit. Here we go. So once I'm cool with what I have right here, the next thing I have to do right now is to start creating my KPIs, but not so fast. Let's quickly go over, or still have this duplicated, Ctrl D to duplicate it. Now we can reduce this and make it a little bit smaller. Something like this would look perfectly okay for me. So now if I put it on top of this one, what's going to happen is going to actually fade into the background. So I want to select the lighter version of it. So the only way to mix it is just to go to more colors. Now while you are here, click on custom, and while you're on custom, you can just bring, what the heck is going on? Okay, let's deselect it, click back over here. So we are on the text, sorry, let's go back to this fill color. Now we can click over here, click over here. So while we're here, we just take it up to create a brighter version of it, a lighter version of the same color. This is how you can mix your color yourself without even going to the website. If you just know how to do this, don't shift this except you want to get a different variation of this color. I'm going to be within the same color, but create a brighter version or a lighter version, right? Just go ahead and do this. In case you want to use the same thing I'm using, 161, 177, 173, then go ahead and click on OK. So now what I'm going to do is just to actually, have this placed right here. That is beautiful. So while we have this over here, what I'm going to do right now is to duplicate this and have it into 4 places. So Ctrl D and keep this one over here, Ctrl D, and this is what I have. So once I have done this now, I'm just going to keep this over here. make sure it's actually centralized in it. So to actually have it centralized right now, I'm going to select this one first, then hold my control key to select this particular one alone. Go to the top ribbon here, shape format, and align this now. We're going to align in this middle. So it's in the middle of it right now. So we can actually use this one. Hold your control key to select this, and this. Then go to the top ribbon again. Now select align. After you clicked on shape format, then you distribute horizontally. Then you now distribute vertically. So if you look at it now, this is what we have. So something is happening. For we to get it to this particular spot, what we need to do right now is to hold our control key. It's tricky, but if you follow me step by step, you're going to know how I've done it. So I'm going to just bring this one down. Once I've brought them down, hold my control key to select this particular one. Look at what I'm going to do now. Go over to align and align top. So nicely done. We have aligned them properly in the same, place. Okay. This is where our KPI cards would be. The next thing we're going to do right now is to quickly go ahead and actually create some icons. But maybe you might be interested in looking at how we're going to add some values to this. Let us quickly create our KPI for the first time. So we are here. We don't need to have any of this here. Let us take off our month and take off our quantity sold. Yeah, our quantity sold is fine. It can be here. So it's giving us sum. If you want to change the sum, all you have to do is to Control 1. Was it Control 1? No, double click on it. Then I'm thinking of something. Yeah, double click on it, you have this. So you just take off sum and have just quantity. If I hit my enter key, I have this. Okay, so make sure you clicked on this one and be on a particular table, like this particular transaction table here. This time around, we are not going to use formulas to create, our analysis because of how we want or what we really want to do. The easiest way to do it is to use DAX, which is data analysis expression. This is a language used, in Microsoft Power BI for calculations and aggregation of values. So if you follow my tutorial very well, even this Excel will actually teach you Power BI at the same time. So maybe you want to take advanced class, go to the comment section. You're going to see all the courses I have right there for you guys. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now is to go over here. I'm going to click on Power Pivot Table Analyze. I think Power Pivot here. While I've clicked on that, you can see over here we have measures. So click on New Measure. So you're going to have this. The table I clicked on before I did this is actually what is reflecting here right now, which means all the measures we're going to be creating will be added all in here, right? So we have measure name. What should be our measure name? Our measure name now is that we want to create total revenue. We want to create total revenue. So total revenue. So over here is description. This description here has to do with maybe trying to explain what this measure is all about, or if you have any other comments. So right in here is where we actually create our DAX into. So the function we're going to use, the DAX function we're going to use, maybe it's going to be your first time. We're not using sum function here. Sum function only works with one single column, while sum x works with multiple columns, like two columns, like iterating through line by line and multiply two columns from different, rows. So now sum x is an iterator that scans your table. So first of all, it's looking for a table. So what is this particular table for? This table is your transaction table, comma. So now I can decide to drop this down to create something very, unique. Okay, now with this here, I'm going to put a comma right here. So with my comma here, it's asking for expression. So it's now asking me inside this particular transaction table, what columns do I need to use to create my total revenue? So which column am I going to multiply? I'm going to say I have quantity sitting in this particular table. If you look at it, quantity. So I want to multiply the quantity by what? By price from the same table. Shift, enter, close. Then you can actually check formula. And here you see no errors in formula. So it's currency. Select this particular one and select your currency symbol. And that is all about that. Then go ahead and click on OK. So once you've done that, automatically it is going to be computed right in here. So the simple thing I've done here now can be done by coming over here and just do simple equals this multiply by this. If I actually highlight this particular column right now and go over here, you see 1453658 then the same exact thing is what we have over here in our analysis. The same thing. So 14 million, right? So we don't actually need this particular column. We can take it off to not to have any error in our Power Query. Otherwise, Power Query will sense that we have a new column. So let us delete it. Okay. Now, once we have done that, we have just created this. The next thing we're going to do right now is to create average revenue per customers. This is something very simple. To create average revenue per customers, all we need to do is to actually divide. So we're going to divide the numbers of customers we have by what? By the total revenue that we have actually generated. You get that now? So let's see how that can be possible. It's something very simple. If this were in Power BI, I would have loved to use variables to actually have this done, but this is not actually that Power BI. So we have limitations on what we do in the DAX we use inside Microsoft Excel. So for that, we're going to create different measures for this. So over here, let's go back, and now we're going to click over here, new measure. So what we need to do right now is to calculate how many customers we have. So I wouldn't go into detail about this, but I'm just going to let you know what it is. If you look at it, we have different tables. Over here, you can see we have sales table, which is a transactional table. We have product table, and we now have customer table. So if you want to calculate the total customers that you have, don't calculate it over the customer table that you have right in here. Instead, calculate it over your transactional table or the sales table. Why are we doing that? So that it could actually account for those customers that has transaction history with us. So maybe we might have a customer last month. So this month, the customer did not make any purchase. So that customer wouldn't have any transactional history in our transactional table. So for that, if you create your total customer from the customer table, there'll be a problem. It will give you wrong calculations. So for that, let's do it. So over here, I'm going to call this one hashtag here customer. That is numbers of customers. Inside here, I'm going to use a function called distinct count. So the distinct count here will count the distinct value for me. And that is going to count from the transaction table. It's going to count the customer ID we have inside the transaction table. So just close and you're good to go. So just number. So we don't have too much customers, but for a precaution, we can just use comma separator, and it's going to be a whole number rather. Say whole number, then you click on OK. So we have 300 customers, but we are not actually interested in these numbers of customers we have right in here, but we can keep it. So what we're actually interested in is the average revenue per customers. So how do we get that done? Let's go back here we're going to create a new measure. So over here, AVG for average revenue per customer. So what we need to do here now, we are not going to use the average function. Instead, we're going to use the divide function here. So we are dividing our what? Dividing our total. If you just use the square bracket, it will give you all the measures you've created. So we're going to be creating this by doing divide our total revenue by square bracket again, numbers of customers, you close, and once you click on OK, this will definitely give you the average revenue you've generated. So in case you want to actually format this to $, just like what I have right here, and you have already committed this, all you have to do is just to go over here, right click on the average and click on edit. So now it's going to bring you back to here. So while you are here now, you are going to go over to currency. From currency, you choose decimal number. So choose the dollar symbol and you click on OK. So can you see it now? That is, the average revenue per customer is $48,000. So if we want to calculate the average revenue per product now, all we have to do is to do the same exact thing we have done for the customers. So just create new, and over here we count how many products we sell. Then over here now, we just have to do distinct count. For transaction, we look for product ID. Then we close. And once we've done that, we just click on OK. We just have 50 products. And the last one we're going to do is just for we to add another new. Then over here, we just have to do average. Revenue per product. So here it's going to be divide, don't forget this. So your total revenue by product. So over here now, we just have to go ahead and format this to currency. So here we go. This is what we have exactly. Those are the KPIs we actually want to show. So how do we go about showing this? So this one here is not from DAX. We just have to go ahead and do number formatting over here. So here we go. Here we go. So it is time for me to come back to our dashboard environment right now. While we are here, we have to quickly look at what it is that we need to do to actually have the right, formatting here. So I'm going to go over to this and duplicate it and reuse it. So Ctrl D to duplicate it, then move it down. Over here, let us type in total units sold. Then we have to go ahead and crank it down. Then you can choose to use white with 10% darker. So we just move it up and have it somewhere around here. So this is what we have right here. So right away, we're going to go with this. So I'm going to click on this particular one here. Or let's say this particular one here. Duplicate it. And now we have to bring in the values, right? So how do we do that? We can go through here and now view. Then we select formula bar. Then from formula bar, we select over here. We put our equal sign and quickly go over to analysis and we pick up the quantity sold. And here we go. So now you can duplicate this now and bring it right here. So you have to bring in the overall revenue. So total revenue. So we can select all of these together. Just hold your Control key to select them. So So once we have selected them now, go to the top ribbon here, click on this part, and the color should be changed. So now over here, let us use 16. This is nice. 16 looks quite okay on this. So here we go. The next thing we have to do is to go all the way to the top, go to shape format, go to align and align top to align them properly. So what we need to do right now is that on this particular one, I'm going to click, hold my control key to select them, select this one as well, and select this particular one and bring them down a little bit like this. So once we are cool with what we have, this is not giving us a holistic overview of what we really want to have. Now we have to go to the website where we can get what we want from. So click on flight icon here, this first one. Let us search for cart, like shopping cart. So pick any one of your choice. So I'm going to go with this one. Just click over here and click on download. It's free, 100% free. You don't need to actually even sign up. Just download. So we have all we need. So we are back here now. Quickly go over here and click on insert. Then from here, click on illustrations. Then click on shapes. On pictures and this device to go to where you have it downloaded right in. So we're going to go to download folder. Over here, we just have to click and hold our shift key to select the three of them. Then we'll click on insert. So while we have this, we just have to reduce this. So here we go. So our shopping cart now can be reduced to fit into here. So for our products, it's going to be under here. Something like this. So what about this? The KPI is looking already, fantastic. So make sure your work is being saved to avoid the story that touches the heart. So what about this? So I want to actually have my next pivot table to be right here. I can go over here and click on where I want my pivot table to be. Then going up here now, you can click on insert. From insert, you're going to see where it says, pivot table. Just click over here and now this is going to be here. This is only here when you actually have your data imported into Power Query, from Power Query to the model like this, right? So clicking on it will actually open up this for you. So it's saying existing worksheet, which is it. Let's go ahead and click on OK. So now we have our second pivot table created right here. The next time when we're going to do this is just for you to copy the existing one and paste it down, make a change to it. So you have known different ways to actually create your pivot table from this kind of data that you have. Okay, what we're going to do right now is to go over to the calendar here and click on the month name. So with the month name here, we want to actually go ahead and drag the year into the filter, right? So once we have done this now, let's go over to our transaction and bring in our total revenue into the values area. So this helps us to actually create revenue on a monthly basis. So if yours is not sorted, that was because you've not sorted it. Maybe you've not watched that particular part. It should be from January down to December. So quickly, I'm going to create a formatting for this. If you look at it right now, over here, we have the row labels, which is not really cool. We have the grand total. We don't want to actually keep it. We want to have it remote. So how do we make all of this possible? you can come over here and right click, and over here you're going to see where it says remove grand total. That is gone. So clicking back on it now, you have to actually make sure this one reflects month. So going back to the top here, you can click on design. Then from there, you can see over here, report, layout. We're going to choose show in tabular form, and that will actually fix this for us. So once we have gotten this done now, the next thing I'm going to do is just for me to actually copy this particular part and have it pasted over here like this, right? So click on this particular filter I have at the top, open it up and select 2023. So over here, select 2024. Beautiful. So we have those particular two pivot table created. So what is the next thing we're going to do right now? We want to use this to create a butterfly chart. Then how do we have that? So click on the first one. Let's go over to insert, and now we're going to insert this particular chart right here, this 2D closed bar charts here. So once we have inserted this, right click and go ahead and click on this particular hide all field buttons. So now the next thing we're going to do is just for we to have this one removed. We don't need to keep it, and as well this one should be gone. Then just resize it. For the time being, we can actually do the resizing later after all, but for now, you just have to resize it. Take this off. We're good to go on this particular one. So we're going to click on this particular one as well. There's a formula to get this done, but this is just the easiest way to actually have it done. We don't want to go through that particular long route. So let's go ahead and select the same exact chart. So we just have to remove all of this from here. Now this time around, you have to click on this one and do Ctrl 1. So with our Ctrl 1, we actually have this. The next thing we're going to do right now is to go over to, once this number is clicked on, value in reverse order. Can you see it now? This is beautiful. So once you have done that, you must make sure you don't have this round removed first. Click on it to actually see this particular value in reverse order. Once you have done that, you can actually go ahead and have this removed, then have this removed, then have this particular axis here removed. We just want to use one of them. Then this one should be removed as well. So we have gotten those particular two charts here created. This will actually serve as a butterfly chart. I'm going to cut it away from here. Let's go over to here and paste them down. So I'm going to close everything. Then the next thing I'm going to do right now is just for me to, maybe I can get this particular card duplicated and keep it somewhere around here. So once done, resize this, drag it down. So we just have to resize it. I think something like this will be okay for me. So just move it up a little bit and create a white space at the top, which is very important. Then the rounded corner is pretty much, so we just want to have a little rounded corner that will be fine for us. So the next thing we have to do right now is for we to make sure this particular white space at the edge here is the same thing as this one. So I'm going to hold my control key after clicking on this one, then select this particular one. Look at what's going to happen. If I go over here and go to shape format, align, and align to the right hand corner. So you have to go back again and align to left. So this time around, it has fixed this for us. We don't want to guess it. We just have to make sure we resize it this way. So the color we want on this one is not this particular color. We just have to go back and change this one to white. So the white here is not popping out very well because it's going to be finted into the white we have as a background. So we can actually work on it by going over to here. So we click on shadow. So we click on the preset. We use this particular offset top over here. Can you see it now? So once we've done that, let us put this at 95 and see what we have. So 95 blur looks quite okay, right? So I'm thinking of something. So let's see, what if I use the offset center and I'm still going to use the same 95. So 95. So this is quite clear, okay? Then we have to fix this over here. So it's going behind. Just hold your Control key and select both of them, right click, and just do bring to front. So bring to front now will actually send everything back. Just come to the front. So individually, I'm going to click on this one. Remove the fill color. Go to the border to take off the line. Then on this one, do the same exact thing. No line, no fill. Then it has this particular gradient, grid line rather. So you just have to remove the grid lines. So you can click on the chart itself and go over here, and you see where it says grid lines. You have to just turn it off. It's done, right? So what I'm going to do right now is for me to just make sure I agree on the size I have here. Then go over to this particular part and take a look at the size. The height is 3.13 by 1.93. So we do that by 1.93. Okay, so we have something that looks like this. I can bring this one over here. So we don't want to actually be on guessing. I can move this one up a little bit, and I'm just going to go over here and click, then go over to the shape format, align bottom. So beautiful. We have this beautiful butterfly chart. So what happens if I go ahead and turn on the data label? So it looks too bulky, like crazy. I don't really like what I have right here. So we have to create our own data label separately or format our numbers. So coming back here now, we can actually come over here and format the numbers on the first column of every single month and year. So this number formatting is not going to be something basic. It has to be something a little bit advanced. So all we have to do is to use the equal sign and use the if function. So we're going to say if this particular one here, this particular number here, if it is greater than or equal to, let us do 1 billion. Maybe our value runs into a billion. So we do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then if that is the case, we want to use the text function to format it. So when I say text, we divide this particular number by 1 billion. Then that is the value. So we put a comma here. How do we want to format this? So we want this to be, this is a value. We're going to put here a dollar sign, dollar symbol, then 0. So make sure this is passed into a double quotes like this. Double quotes. So $0, close the double quotes here. And you have to close this and you concatenate here B to it that passed into double quotes. Although our number does not run into a billion, we just want to do a precaution. Should we have a high value, you just have to leave the space for it. So that is the first one. So if the value is false, what we want is still to use our if function again. So it's saying this particular if this one is actually greater than or equal to 1,000,000. Then what we need to do right now is to use the text function. So the text function now is going to take this number and divide it by 1,000,000. Then inside of our quotes, $0 close. Then once you have done that, you have to close under ampersand here again. Then you just have to format this into 1,000,000. So that is actually done. You place a comma again. Let's just do for 1,000, right? So for 1,000 now, we just have to say if this value here is actually greater than equals to 1,000, then the text function, I'm going to do this once, then we copy to any place we're actually working on. It's going to be fine. So text divide this by 1,000. So once you've done that, you just have to format it using the dollar symbol inside double quotes, 0. Then we close and we concatenate here to it. It's going to be 1,000. That is K. So other than this, we just have to say, give us this. Maybe it's just going to be 10, 20, 100 and stuff like that. So there should be no any formatting or original formatting on this. So next thing we're going to do right now is to actually count how many ifs we have opened. So this is our first if, our second if, our third if, right? So which means we have to close 3 different brackets because we have 3 ifs open. 1, 2, 3. If I hit my enter key, I have this format. So I'm just going to copy this down.
$635,000.
So I've just copied this down. So if you want decimal number to be right on it, all you have to do is to double click on it and make sure here is reading 0.0. If you want to decimal, 0.00, but I don't want that. I just want to keep it at this. So how do we get this created for the second one? Just drag this. Okay, how do you drag this? You actually place your cursor here. You hold your control key down. You see this particular little plus right on it. Then you just have to use your mouse to drag it down to this particular spot here. So if I double click now, this is what I have. So now just fill it down. So over here, I can just do number formatting. So number formatting as well. So we have all of this. The next thing I'm going to do now is to go back here and now click on this. Make sure you turn on the data label right now. So click on data label, you can control 1. Once you have this on, you can actually go over to value from cell. So first of all, we need to identify which particular month is this. Sorry, which particular year is this. So that is it. You just don't have to create it the way you like. So this one now is giving us 561. If we go over here, 561. So let's see. So there's a problem here. This is not actually giving us based on January to December. So we have to click on this particular axis here and go over here. Then we click on category in reverse order, 100% done. Then we have to turn on this one and have it done as well. So click on this particular one, then go ahead and turn on the axis and click on this particular one here. Then we just have to show this category in reverse order, 100% done. Now click over this particular one here and just go ahead and actually value in reverse order. Once you have done that, you can actually remove the value. Now have this particular one removed. So the setting has been done. We should have done this before now, but I'm so sorry for that. So now this particular 634 here has to do with this. 634 has to do with 2023. So we know which one to actually reflect it right on. So come over to values and highlight this range. Then click on OK and turn off value from here. Then make sure once you turn off value, no, sorry, I don't know how that happens. Data label. So click back on this. So turn off the value. So we only have this on now. So if you look at it, this is what we have. So we're going to actually still work on it. So click on this one and actually do the same thing for this. Click over here, data label turned on first. Click on this one and let's go over to here. Then we click and we highlight this particular environment. Range, though we turn on and turn off this one here. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is just to make sure this one is a little bit this way. So I'm going to just go ahead and extend this one to show everything and move it this way a bit. Then for which actually have the same width and the same height, we just have to, I think the height is okay right now, the width is the problem. So we just have to go over here and check what the width is. It's actually 2.08. So we just have to click on this particular one and fix it to 2.08. So nicely done. Everything is showing up fine and correctly. So you just have to work on this particular part. So centralize it into here. So once you have done that, the next thing you're going to do right now is just to click on this particular one here. So the gap weight should be maintained. So let us keep it at 75 or 70 will be fine. At 70. So we keep this one at 70 as well. So, all right, once we have gotten this done, the next thing we have to do right now is to actually agree on the color we're going to give to it. This color is for a reason. I'm going to show you why. If you've looked at the finished one, you can see the color I have actually used for it, right? So what I'm going to do right now is to actually click on this particular one here. This one, we are going to say, this is our 2024. We need to actually create a legend for it by going over to any of those particular cards we have here already and copy. Then the text should be changed into this color. So this is going to be 2024. Identify your 2024 and be very sure of it before you do this. Don't just create. So increase this. So here now, this one will actually be our 2023. Okay, we have those two legends here. So with this now, I'm going to move this up a little bit to create a space for my legend at the bottom. this particular top here is for something important. So go over to insert and illustrations, shapes. I'm going to take a circle. Hold my shift key down to draw a perfect circle, not as big. Okay, something like this. So we don't need any line. So over here now, I'm going to choose to use this particular color for my 2024. Duplicate it. I'm going to choose a different color, this lighter version for 2023. So let me show you what color code I'm using here. The color code I'm using for this particular one now is 161177173, right? So the same thing, this color here is what I've used over here. You already have it. You can just copy that. So now keep this at this particular spot. Keep this at this particular spot here. So let's make sure they are properly aligned. I always love to do this. So we just have to align top. So once you have done that, this is my 2024. I'm going to keep my 2024 closer to this. Then do the same thing to this particular one. Bring this particular one right in here. So if I click on this particular bars here, I'm going to select this very color for my bars. So click on this particular bars and pick the color that matches my legend, which is this very color here. So maybe by now you might have not understood why we're actually doing or choosing these particular two colors here. So let us see what is going on. The next thing we have to do is to actually show our revenue based on year and create year-over-year change for our revenue. So how do we go ahead and do that? It's something very simple. Let me show you. So previously, before now, I have told you that I'm not going to create pivot table the way I did before. All I have to do is to select the area of my pivot table, like this particular area here. And if I hold my control key, I see this plus, I can just drag and I have a new pivot table created for me automatically. So this time around, I am just going to go over to here and take off the month. So I'm going to go back to my calendar. Okay, sorry. Here, I have the filter here. I'm going to bring the filter down. So we have our revenue created for us on a yearly basis. You see this now? Nicely done. So once we have gotten this done, instead of me to actually create this particular kind of donut chart like this, I wouldn't fancy this. I'm going to actually customize it and have two of these, one for every single year. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is splitting them, and how we just have to do equals and highlight this particular place to create an array here. Then over here, what we have to do is to create the percentage for every single year. How do we do that? It's something very simple. You just have to do what I'm going to do is just to actually say this equals this value. Remember, it should be matching the year. Then we're going to divide it by the sum of all of the values here. Then once you have done that, you can actually use your F4 key to lock it down so that you can copy without moving it. You drag it down, you Control 1, then you format this to percentage with no decimal place. So we have something like this. You can actually format this particular part, pre-format it to percentage before you actually type in any percentage there. So pre-format it. So over here, what we're going to do is just for me to actually find the remainder. How or what do I mean? Let me type it. Remainder. So what I'm going to do equals 100%. I'm going to subtract it from this. 53%. And if I copy down, I have this. So it's just like reversing it, right? So So we have this, and we're going to use this for our charts. Highlight this particular environment, go back and click on insert. This time around, go ahead and create this. Oh no, what is going on? If you look at it, something happened when I actually selected this range and created my charts like this. So it's showing like 100%. This is not really cool at all. If you have the same issue, let me tell you why. That was because this particular year here is a number. This one too is a number in percentages. So what is going on? How can we fix this? Don't worry. All you have to do is to follow the same process. Just highlight this particular environment, or you can highlight those particular line, like here, 2023. Go back and create the same exact kind of charts. Then once you have something like this, just know that that was because this one is reading number. So what I'm going to do now is just for me to right click and go to select data. From there, click on edit, right? What me? You are editing this particular series here. So click on edit. And over here, if you look at it, it's picking this particular place. We don't want to pick it. So what I've done earlier is to actually make sure we give this. And over here, we actually move everything away from here and we select this particular tool. So now this is what we are looking forward to seeing. So if I click on OK here, this is actually done for me. So I'm going to take off 2023 and take off this particular legend here. We don't need it. This is our remainder here. This particular color is our remainder. This is the actual value, which is 47% that we actually need, right? So quickly, I can actually double click and go over here and select this color for this. And for this particular one, 2023, I have to take this to my dashboard to know what legend I have. So if I paste this down over here now, my 2023 has this color. So I'm going to select this particular one here. Double click on it and make sure the color reflects here before you make a change of it. Then we go ahead for this particular one. And I'm going to resize it to be as small as what I can actually use and keep it somewhere around here. So let us remove the fill and the line out of it. So now we have something like this. So if you just select it, don't double click, just select the inner one like this and go over here and say no line. So you can see there was a line on it, the line has been taken off, right? So what we're going to do right now is just for we to make sure we agree on the size that is here, because we want to create this one into two places. So now here, I'm going to just control it to duplicate it. And over here, I'm going to keep this one here. So if I do this now, this is pretty huge because I can't have space to put my title over here. So first of all, what I'm going to do is just to actually have this one duplicated and bring it as a title for this particular part here. Stretch it this way. Let's go ahead and reduce the font size for the first time. The font size should be this, right? So once I've done that, I'm going to type in what I want. So this is going to be revenue. Generated on a weekly basis. Okay, so we can actually centralize it by going over here. We keep this in the center. You see that now? So we have taken the space for this. So this has to be brighter than this one. So we just have to go back and pick a particular bright color. Let's go with the sharp color. Something like this looks perfectly okay. So now we have to reduce this one to make it a bit smaller. If I duplicate it rather now and keep this around here, this works fine for me. Right, I can work with this. So we just want to make sure we align them properly. So I'm going to go ahead and click on align to the left hand corner, something like this. Great. So what else do I need to do? Right click on this one and click on select data. So while we are here, we just have to shift things around. So select this particular environment here. And let's just click on OK. So the same thing happened here. So what we're going to do right now is to right click and go to select data. While we are here, we just have to edit this series. While we are editing the series, we just go back to this and select 2024 for series name. Over here, remove everything and select the percentages here. And now click on OK. So we should be good to go. Click on OK here. So maybe this time around it's difficult for you to identify which one is actually your 2024. All you have to do is to go over here and check what is the percentage of 2024. It's actually 53%, right? So once you hover over here and see 53%, that means we have actually gotten it. This is the one here. So what we have to do is to double click it, go over here and change the color to match the legend of 2024. So check it out. Over here right now, this color here matches this, and this one here matches this particular one. Can you see it now? So it's almost as legend to our months broken down by the year. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I can just create this and change its color. First of all, go to view, formula bars, turn it on. So over here, we just have to go ahead and select our value for 2023 here. So here we go. This is the percentage. The next thing I'm going to do now is just to make sure this is centralized in here. So go over here and click on home. We align it properly in the center. Once we have done that, we just increase the font size. That will appear very well. So here we go. Then once we have gotten this done, this color here should be calm. Let's go over to here. We can't select this because it's going to be faded into the background. We just have to select a cool background, or a cool color rather. So duplicate it and have this one over here. Then move it away and have it inside here. So now we can go ahead and highlight and go over here and select this here. This is great. So what we can do is just to have this one copied, place it on this particular one. We are good to go. Okay, so right away we just have to copy this very title here, then move it and keep it somewhere around here. So what I'm going to do right now is to type in here revenue by revenue 2023. So this 2023 here, I'm going to make sure it's bold enough. So here we go. So bold enough, but the color should be calm. Let's see if this color will reflect well on it. Not too much. So we can. So now we just have to duplicate it and keep this one over here. All we have to change here is actually 4, right? So what do you see? So next again is for me to just say, okay, I'm going to copy this one down, go over here and bring in the actual value for it. So let's go through here and okay, I'm going to use the same font size here. Then let's click on Format Painter and place it on this one. Change the color quickly. Nicely done. So let's float it and make sure it's aligning properly right here. Then duplicate it and keep this over here. Then this time around, we just have to highlight and we go back and click on this. So what we need to do now is just to click on this one, and here we go. Once we have gotten this done, we want to show the year-over-year change. This is what I'm going to do. I want to go to Insert here, go into Illustrations, and go to Shapes. And I'm going to locate this particular one. This very one here, this single in the right brace here. So I'm just going to drag it. So once you have done this now, I want to change the color. So we can change the color over here. It's a line color, not a fill color. So go to the line color here and choose a very calm color that is almost faded into the background like this. So this is what we have. So here is going to be where we keep our year-over-year change. So all I have to do right now is just to go over here and have this duplicated. And here is going to be year-over-year change. So we can do percentage year-over-year change. So once done, this is going to be the actual value. So it's not going to be too huge. So I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. Then this one now should be closer to it. So this only works if you have just 2 years, right? Because I know I have 2 years data. I'm just analyzing this for 2 years data. Otherwise, I would have used another method to get this done. The next thing I'm going to do right now is to go over here and calculate my year-over-year change. So to calculate our year-over-year change right now, what we need to do is to actually type here year-over-year change. So change. Now over here, I'm going to put an equal sign and say the last year, that is the current year rather, the current year is 2024. The older one is 2023. So the current year, I think this should be passed into curly brackets. So this particular 2024 subtract the previous year from it. Then go ahead and close it and divide it by the same previous year. So once you have done this, now you can Control 1 and format it into a percentage. So we just click on OK. It's 14.58%. This is the year-over-year change. So what we need to do, we just go over here and click, highlight here, then bring it over. So can you see it now? Just go ahead and give it the same formatting. So here is our year-over-year change. We just have to make sure the percentage reflects. So properly align this header to it. So if I give you a full screen now, here, formula bar should be turned off. This is what we have over here. Isn't this beautiful? So in case you've watched to this particular end and you have not given this video a thumbs up or even leaving a comment, please go ahead and do that. I'm going to show you how to use Excel to analyze data, both, financial data, non-financial data, text-based data. I'm going to show you how to do everything. If you're actually interested in picking up my course, I have it under the description of this video, or go through this comment section. You're going to see it right there, where I'm going to teach you how to analyze data using Microsoft Excel, and as well, I'm going to actually take you to Power BI and show you from the elementary down to the advanced level. So see you in the class. Let us go ahead and duplicate this card here. The reason why I'm not showing you the size I'm using, the height and the weight, is because we might not have the same screen size, right? So showing you that might actually affect what you actually get as a result. So just make sure you do this to match your screen size. You don't necessarily need to actually look at my screen size to get this done. So I'm just going to resize this one and make it a bit smaller, not that very huge like this particular one here. So what we're going to pass in here is the weekends and the weekdays plus the weekly revenue. How are we going to do that? So first of all, just bring this one down a little bit if you have actually created this one, and hold your control key to select this and go over here and go to format, shape format, and align top. This will actually align them properly for you. So now that you have gotten this now, the next thing we have to do is to go ahead and create analysis. So highlight this particular one here and just bring this over here. So what I normally do, sometimes is just to some kind of create a bridge between this here to make sure everything sits on its own. It will be very, very simple to read. So this one is on its own. This one here is on its own. So right here, we don't have to look at the yellow basis again. We want to go for the day name, which is this. This is beautiful. So all I'm going to do right now is to create an array over here by highlighting this whole range here for a reason. With the kind of chart I want to create, I can't create a pivot chart. So what I'm going to do now is just to actually say over here, I want to see highlight of week ends. Highlight weekends. So how do we highlight weekends? It depends on the country you are in. So some country has Friday and Thursday to be their weekend, specifically Islamic country. So if you are in the US, in the UK, in Canada, in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, or other African countries. So I think your weekends will fall to Saturday and Sunday. But if you look at it vividly, this is not properly sorted. So we need to make sure this is sorted rightly. So we have to go ahead and step back into Power Query. Click on Data, Queries and Connections. While this one popped up, just double click on Calendar. It's going to open up your calendar for you in Power Query. Then we can add one extra column that can actually help us to sort our week names. So I'm going to show you another way to get this done. So maybe you want to experience your first time writing the queries yourself without using the other way around. So if you go to this particular add column here, you can see where it says custom column. So on custom column, you don't do drag and drop and have the query generated for you, just like what we had been doing before. Over here, you have to write the query language yourself. We call it M language. So I'm going to type in here week number. So with the week number, let us use the dates.year. Then inside here, we bring in dates. So we close it. So let's see. Here should have actually be we'll open the parentheses first here. So now everything is right. Let's click on OK. Okay, let's double click on this again. So we are not using the right one. This should be date.year. Then open parentheses. We type in our dates. So we close. Then if I hit my enter key, we should have it correctly. Oh no, this is crazy. Let us experience writing our own M code to generate the column we want. Instead of us to just go over to add column, go over here and click on it, and it got it generated for us. So what I'm going to do right now is to make sure I click on custom column here. So with my custom column over here, I'm going to type in here week number written together. So inside here now, we're going to use a function called date dots, that is date dots, day of week, which is this one. The function will actually pop out itself. So this your date here must have dots. Please note that down. So date dot day of week. So inside parentheses, we pass in the date here. Then we close. So there should be no error. If you have any error, maybe you are making a mistake somewhere. This date, after this date, you have dot. It could be on caps or on small letter, it doesn't really matter. So under the dot, day of week here is a function that is actually extracting the numbers, right, for you. So let's go ahead and click on OK and see what we have. So we have an error somewhere. I think what matters now is this particular part here. It should be dates. So it's case sensitive. We say no again. Oh, sorry. I repeated date twice. So we just have to remove this. And now we should be 100% good to go. 100% good to go. So if I now click on the drop down here, what am I going to have? I'm going to have from 0 to 6. That is my week number. So let's go ahead and actually make sure this is actually a number, like a whole number. So once we have gotten this done, all we have to do is to go over here, just click on close. Then this will be actually loaded back to our model. But right now, it wouldn't solve any problem for us. We just have to go back to our model to actually readjust this. If I scroll to this end now, we still have it start from Friday and ends on Wednesday. So I'm going to go back here and click on manage. So while we are here, we have the date, the calendar. Then select this particular one here. Once selected, go over to sort by column and choose the week number, which is going to be this particular one here. Oh, my week number is not correct, but no problem. It's just a spelling error. This should actually have been corrected for me. Let's quickly go back to Excel. So it starts from Sunday and ends on Saturday. So now it is time for me to actually highlight the weekends. So with the if function, we can actually do this. So saying if this particular one here is equals sun for Sunday, then what we want to see is this particular value. So put a comma and give us this value. So under if again, if this particular one here is equals to search for Saturday, then give us the value. Other than this, give us blank. So I think here we go. So we mistakenly asked it to give us this again. So instead of forced to say give us the value, we are asking it to give us Saturday again. So now here we go. I should have it corrected from here. Correct it to this part. So if you now copy it down, we're good to go. So we have the highlights here. So all we have to do right now is to select this particular environment. Let's go to insert. From insert, let's quickly click on this kind of chart. So look at what happens. It's giving us something weird. Can you see it now? not working. So keep it on highlight and go back to insert again and click on this. This should not give us something correctly. Can you see now? So if you go ahead and remove all of this, we don't need the legend, neither do we need this now. This one here, gone. So right here, this is what we need. This is what we need. So we need to actually create a formatting for this. And the formatting should actually be your data label. I can add my data label to this. Formatted. So all I need to do right now is to keep the previous one in view, like this particular one. Once you have it in view, just hold your control key and drag it. Once you have the plus sign, keep it over here and copy it down. So this one now is looking at this. So, but there is something that is not really cool right now. Everything is giving me 2M, which is not going to make any damn sense. So we just have to bring into it some kind of decimal number. So I don't know if this makes sense to you. We have to introduce a decimal number into it, which will definitely give us something much more better. So to do that now, we just have to double click over here. Where we have 0, we're going to say 0.00 to decimal number. So we do the same thing to this particular part here, 0.00. If I hit my enter key right now, we have something like this. So this can actually quickly tell you that, okay, this 2M here is 2.23 differentiated from this 2, which is going to be 2.02 here. Okay, now we are good to go. We can cut off this from here and take it to a dashboard environment. So while we are here, I'm going to keep this over here. So Ctrl 1 and overlap it. Overlap this one. Shift it to 100%. Here you go. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now is just to say my weekend should actually carry this particular color. Let's go here. It's my weekend. My weekdays should carry this particular color. So can you see it now? So we just have to click on the charts and say no line, no fill. For the grid lines, we have to take off the grid lines. Now we click on these particular ones. Click on this one, not this one. This one's here, the weekdays here, and turn on your data label. So you know the drill. So go ahead and let's do Ctrl 1. Okay, yeah, here we go. We have this. Click on the data labels and you can see, go over here from cell. We go ahead and pick up this. Click on OK. So right now we turn off the value. So we have this. So if you look at it right now, the spacing is something that we need to work on. So let us do this. This looks cool. But let us try to see if we have it on one decimal place, what is going to happen. So let's get this one off. Then we can remove 1 zeros from those ones. Then let's go down. Oh, this is cool. Better. So here we go. We have something like this. As you can see, this looks quite okay. So all I have to do right now is to make sure I go ahead and copy this and have it right here for my title. Oh, this one should be monthly basis, or if need be. Sorry, I know somebody must have actually looked at this and corrected it, but this could actually be monthly revenue trend. So we just have to put 2023 versus 2024. So please have this particular part corrected. This is the right one for this one here. My bad. So what else do we need to do? Now we want to show something over here, just like what we have right here, right now. So all we have to do is to go through this and copy. Then hold your control key to drag this and keep it somewhere around here. Go to the calendar and take off the day and now week type. So we have our week type, the weekend and the weekday. So all we have to do is to put an equal sign here, highlight this particular environment here. And once we do this, we have this. So the next thing is for we to create the percentage, PCT. And over here, we just put our equal sign, get its value divided by the sum of the whole value. So F4 key because we want to copy down. So we've done this before. I think it's something very simple. So with Control 1 now, we convert this to a percentage over here. Can you see it now? So here we go, 71.29. So remember we have the remainder here, and the remainder is just going to be 100% subtracted from this one here. So it's going to give us huge numbers. So no problem. With Control 1, we can control it just to maybe zero decimal. So here we go. So all we have to do is getting this done. You can see this is going to be different from the previous one we have created. It's going to give us this exactly. Why? That was because this particular part here is not a number. So it's not actually doing an intersection from that. All right. So once we have gotten this now, this is our 71%, which is our week day. So I'm going to cut this away from here, keep it somewhere around here, move it, take off this is my weekday, don't forget about that. So here we go. Resize it to actually fit into where you want to keep it rising. So we're going to have two of this here. We have something like this. So if we have aligned them properly, I can duplicate this particular part here and have this right here. All I have to do is just to go ahead and turn on my formula bars. So we just have to highlight, go over here, weekday has this percentage, grab the same format from here to here. Then we just have to right click on this one and select data. Then just go ahead and highlight the weekend. Click on OK. So my weekend is this. I just have to go ahead and double click on this one until this particular color reflects here. I select the color of my weekend. Can you see how it is right now? So we move this one into the center of this particular part here. Then we go ahead and pick its own percentage as well. It's 29%. Then just copy the same format from here to it. So all I have to do right now is just to go ahead and copy these ones here. So this one should have a longer data label. So I'm going to do revenue by week Weekdays. So double click can actually make sure you bold it. So what I need to do now is just to go ahead and grab the actual value for this one. Then we just have to use the same format. So once we have done this now, we can just go ahead and copy this down here. So by weekends, so we match the actual value to this. All our focus had been on time series analysis, which we have just done. So right away, we just have to look at how to look at the product that is actually giving us this particular revenue. So those particular products that are actually underperforming. So, and we're going to create this particular kind of chart in one single chart, like top 10 products and on 10 underperforming products. So how do we do that? So quickly, let us get this one duplicated. I'm going to bring it over here. So I'm going to just release it and hold my control key to select the top one here. Then go over here and format align to the top to have it aligned properly. Good and fine. So once I have gotten this now, I don't want to make this as huge as this. It should be something like this because I want to have this particular space for this here. Let us reduce this particular part a little bit. So this space here is meant for this. So you just have to make sure you keep on adjusting things until you have the right spacing you need. Okay, let's duplicate this now. Then the spacing will be too much, so I always take my time to get it formatted. Okay, nicely done, but almost there, not actually there. So once I've done this now, I think this is actually good to go. So this spacing here should be equals to this particular one I have here. So what I'm going to do now is just to actually make sure I hold my control key. First of all, move this one to the top like this. Then hold my control key to select this one and go over here and align this to the bottom. Nicely done. So once I've done that, I just want to go ahead and fill this one to here and have the alignment this way. Okay, now if you look at it, we have a little space over here. What will this space for? This space should actually be consumed by this card. Can you see it now? So then what we're going to do now is for me to show you a feature you have not used before. It's called select objects. So I'm going to select this particular object. Right click and click on group. Then select this object. Right click and click on group. Don't include what you don't want to be in the object you're actually doing the grouping for. Can you see it now? I am excluding other things. I just want to actually focus on those ones. So group it. So why am I doing this? Over here now, once I've done that, I can actually go ahead and click on my escape key to remove it. So this is grouped. I can now manually move it and keep it somewhere around here. So once I've done this, I will now hold my control key to select those cards here. And go over to this align and distribute horizontally. Can you see it now? I have distributed the space that we have just added previously to everything here, and everything is good. Okay, so once we have this now, over here, let's go ahead and take a look at the full screen, how it looks. So we have this particular space here for our top product and as well the product category, while we have this particular spot here to be for our customers, the region we sell to, and the age segment, which we have not actually created. I'm going to show you how to do all of this. So right now, our next focus should actually be creating a chart. So over here now, I'm going to just create a divider, separate this. So we just have to copy this now. So what I'm going to put here now is not more with type. We are going to be looking at the product level. So here is my product. We have lots of products here. I think we have around, if I'm not mistaken, around 50 products. So we have 50 products. So what we want to show here is going to be the top 10 products. All you have to do is to click on top 10 filter and just click on OK, and we have the top 10 products. So we want to have the 10 underperforming products as well. So if I put this over here, we just have to make a single change to this. Right click back here, filter, top 10, change from top to bottom. Here we go. So we have the 10 underperforming products. So just type in here underperforming, and here will be top 10. All right. So we want to use one chart to actually control this. How do we do that? Let's go back to our dashboard environment. While we are here, we click over to developer. From developer, we go to insert and we click on this particular option button. So keep your option button here and remove everything you have inside it and resize it to make it a bit smaller. Okay, so once we have something like this, I'm going to keep this at this level here. Control D to duplicate it. Keep this over here. So make sure you align them properly. I always love to do this. Shape and align top. That is beautiful. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to get this one here duplicated and reuse it. So here I'm going to type in top. I'll keep my top around here, duplicate my top, here is going to be underperforming. So I'm going to hold my control key to select this, and this, and I'm going to centralize it. So now, if you click this one here, I'm going to just move it a bit. Then you can actually click on this one, right click on this one, and go over to the top here, go to shape format, go to bring to front, so that it will not actually interfere with this particular one when this one is actually hitting the front of this one. So this is what we have. So right click on this one and go to format control. So click on this particular one and assign a cell to it. Let us assign this particular cell here to it. Then click on OK. So we should see one when we get there. So we have one. I always love to color this as red. So I'll color the text inside it to be white. Then I can bold it, centralize it. So option button. Here we go. So somebody will know that this one should not be deleted. If this number is deleted, it's not going to work. Okay. The next thing we have to do right now is to actually switch between the top and the bottom. Using the if function, we're going to say if this particular one here, F4 key to lock it down, is equals to 1. Then go ahead and give me this. That means you are selecting top. So please put a comma here. So that means we're selecting top. Go ahead and actually give me from here, comma, otherwise select something from here. Then hit your enter key. So if I just go ahead now and copy down, so we have from here. So you can highlight and go this way. So here comes the top. So what happens if I go ahead and choose the underperforming? So whatever we see now will be gotten from this particular place. Look at this particular sugar part here. It's right here. So now our chart is ready. We can quickly create our chart with this particular one. It's something very snappy. I want to go over to insert and let's insert this particular chart here. So Ctrl X to cut it. Quickly over here, we can paste it and move it to where we want. So it's going to be somewhere around here. I'm going to take off this one. I want to have control on my thing. So once I have this over here, remove this as well. And on this one, Ctrl 1 to control the gap width. So while you have done this, you just go over to change the color. This time around, I want to select this particular color. So now we need to actually add data label, right? And if underperforming is selected, I want underperforming to be sorted ascending, then this top one should be sorted descending. So let's go ahead and do that. So over here, right click on it and click on sort largest to smallest. Then this one should be sorted smallest to largest. Sorted smallest to largest. So let us go ahead and take a look at what we have now. Then click on this particular part here and see category in reverse order. So click on this one now. Can you see now? From the smallest, this one now from the highest. So this is the hot selling product. Second hot selling, third hot selling. So over here, this is the most underperforming product, this particular sugar part here. So we can see the hierarchy now. So what is left right now is for we to actually add data label, which is not going to be pretty much on this. So all we have to do is to actually create an extra column here, label, and we have to go through this very one here. I'm going to just click on this and hold my control key to move it. Don't worry, drop it over here. Then we just have to go ahead and move it and keep it somewhere around here. So here we go. We have this. So if we go back now, we click on this particular one. We Ctrl 1. We go to value from cell. We go ahead and pick up the new column we added, which is this very range. So let us remove the value from here. This one now looked matured than what we have before. Can you see it now? So we can now open it up. So the next thing we have to do right now, Ctrl 1, we just have to say no fill and no line. Then we just have to come over here. Over here, I'm going to bold my weekly. So my monthly should be bolded. Over here, I'm going to just do this and bring this over here. So this here now should actually be dynamic. How do we go about that? We have to go back to here and make sure we set some kind of dynamic text for this using the if function. The if function will actually help us to actually get this done. So what do I mean by this? Which means it has to be based on what is selected. So if I come over to this particular place now, I can type in my title. So the title now should be equals. If this one here, you don't need to lock it down, is equals 1, then what we want to have here should be top 10 products driving sales. Otherwise, it should actually be 10 underperforming products that needs attention. Here we go. So let's see if we actually have this over here. How is it going to look? Oh no, sorry. We just have to make sure we put an equal sign here. So let's go ahead and copy the formatting of this one and apply it to this. So top 10 products driving sales. So 10 underperforming products that needs attention. So what about this? Interesting, right? Okay, fine. Once we've gotten this done now, we can just go ahead and copy this particular part here. So copy it, and let's quickly go over to this particular side and drop it down. Once we've done that, we go to product and we take off the product name and we'll bring in category. This time around, it's going to be pivot table chart. So insert, and we insert this particular chart here. We take off all of this and have those ones here hidden. Right click and hide it and remove this from here. So now we just want to make sure it's on from descending. We just right click and sort largest to smallest. Beautiful, right? So all we have to do right now is just to cut this away from here. Ctrl X, and while we come to the dashboard environment, you Ctrl V. You just have to keep this over here. For now, let's turn off the formula bar to have more space. So you just have to Ctrl 1 and take off no fill, no line. Then you change the color of this. Let's do the same color. Then once you've done that, you can take off the grid lines. Okay, now we have this. Turn on the data label. Too bulky, right? Don't worry. We already have our own way to get it done. Just hold your Control key and drag it and put it over here. So let's go back quickly. So click back on this and your Control 1. Click over here. Let's highlight. Click on OK. So turn this on and turn this off. So what about this? Interesting, right? This is what you need to know how to do. So we have just actually created this particular part where we are looking at the underperforming, or we can decide to switch to top 10 products driving sales. And over here, we don't have any label for this. We just have to do that. So we just have to pick up any of this one here, duplicate it with Ctrl D and move it right here. So what are we going to have right here is something very simple. We just want to have revenue by category. So revenue generated by category. So my category should be bold. So Don't forget to save your work. It's very important. So we are almost approaching the fag end of the project. And if you are still watching up to this end, I have more for you guys. So whereby you can learn how to analyze data, both financial data, e-commerce data, HR data, everything you need to actually know about Microsoft Excel will be taught to you in this particular course. And I'm going to actually take you to Power BI and introduce you to Power BI and create advanced, dashboards and reports inside Microsoft Power BI. So let's get back to the class. It is time for me to work with customer data, right? So right away, we want to actually create some kind of grouping. If we look at our customer data here, we have the age. This age is actually bulky, like crazy. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Going to analysis right here, I'm going to create a bridge between this here. Now we can copy this part of our data and have it right here. So what I'm going to do right now is to move straight up to so let us right click over here and show the field list. And from here, I'm going to take off category. So we're going to go into customer table and bring in the age. So the age is number, so it's actually pushing itself right here. We're going to push it right in here. And if you look at it, creating chart with this is going to look very awkward. We can't do that, right? I think you don't want to do it. Can you see how this look? So this is not pretty at all. So we want to do something that we can read. Unfortunately, Power BI wouldn't allow us to group. If I click on group here, Power BI does not allow us to group. So if you are doing this from here, you can group. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If I go ahead and create a pivot table with this now, I'm going to insert here. In case you're actually analyzing data that is not pushed into a model, you can actually do this. So let me use existing one, keep it over here. And this time around, I'm going to keep the age here, and it's going to be right here. So let us push the customer or the region into value area. And I'm going to create a grouping for this quickly. Right click and you go ahead and click on group. So it allows you to group. So if you want to group by 10 years, this is good. So you can see. So the count of region is what we're doing here right now. Can you see now? This is quickly going to be done for you because it's not actually data that is actually coming from the model. So what I'm going to do right now is to actually go back to Power Query and quickly create a grouping in my Power Query environment. Then we come over here and make a change and have something very nice, right? So what about that? So go over to data. From data, click on queries and connection. And over here, just double click on any of the tables. While we are here, we just have to click on dim customer. So on that here now, we can see we have this. There is something you can do without writing a single M code for this. Go over to add column and choose column from example, then choose from selection. Once you choose from selection, make sure you put this on view. What is on view is this. So all you have to do now is to group. So my grouping should actually start from 0 to whatever range I want. One thing you need to understand is this. What you want to group by must be on view. Now, what do I mean? This 21 here must be within the range. So maybe you want to say from 0 to 10. It's not going to work. Let me try it. So I'm going to say here 0, click on this particular place, 0 to 10. If I hit my enter key now, nothing happens, right? So what will work now is to be from 0 to 20. If I hit my enter key, it's not going to work. So what will work? We have to include the number we are looking at here. So it's going to be from 0 to 21. If I hit my enter key, I have my grouping created for me. But this is going to be too short. It's going to create just 3 different categories for me. Although not bad at all if you want it this way. But what if I want to just start it from the minimum value? So what do I need to do? We can just go ahead and remove this particular one right now. So all I need to do right now to do that is just to come over here and sort this ascending order. So the minimum value comes to our view. We can look at this, right? Then we can go back here and from selection, make sure you have your selection on view, which is this. So this one now should be from 0 to 18. If I hit my enter key, we have actually created the grouping. Here we go. So if I select this now, you can see 0 to 18, 19 to 37, 38 to 50, all of that. But if you want to actually create more custom grouping, this is another way to get it done. I'm not going to show you that way, but you can actually catch this on my course. So conditional column here will definitely help you to create more advanced grouping where you can actually, set your interval to be 5 years, 6 years, 7, 10, 20, whatever it is. Right here, you can do that, right? So let's quickly go ahead and rename this one to age group. So nicely done. All we have to do now is to go ahead and close. Then this will be loaded into our model. Then we can actually have access to it right here. So wait for it. Okay, nicely done. Let's quickly get back to here. Click on this. Now we swap the year for the grouping. Can you see it now? This makes more sense than ever. Now we can see the range. So from 0 to 18, we did not make too much revenue from there. So I think we made more revenue from 19 to 37. So now chart will tell us if this is true. So let's quickly go over to insert a chart. Here we go. So if you want this hierarchy to be based on age, I think it's good this way. So this is 0 to 18, not too much revenue from them. I think we don't have to do any other thing. Maybe I might want to show you something that you have not learned from me. Let me quickly show you something that you need to know. So equals highlights this particular range right here. And once you've done that, I'm going to just go ahead and say equals again, highlight this range. You can do them together although. So I'm going to say max and over here mean. So we want to actually highlight the max value and the mean value. If you want the max value alone, you can do that. So you can use large and small to do something much more advanced than what the max and mean will do. So all that in my course. So all I'm going to do right now is going to be saying if this particular value here is equals max, and the max should be found here, right? Then F4 key. Then if that is true, give me this. Otherwise, go ahead and give me blank. Close and hit your enter key. Then let us go ahead and do this. So all I have to do right now to do this one for the mean, so just copy and paste this one over here. So once pasted, instead of max here, we choose to have mean over here. So the mean value falls here. So let us highlight this particular range now. Go over here, insert. So this is what we have. So crazy. So this is not looking suitable, or I can do individually. Let's go ahead and insert a chart. Here we go. Once we have this, we can just remove what we don't want to see. We don't want this. We don't want this as well. Okay, so right now, right click and click on select data. So add, you add series, max, this one, remove it. Oh, sorry. You add this on this one here, you take it off and you select this range. Why selecting the range and why not this one? That was because this can actually change or move when there is a filter on it. So click on it, then you add another one. This time around, we are adding mean. Then we select over here. We just go ahead and move it off. Then we go ahead and highlight. Then we click on OK. We click on OK. So once we have done that now, we can just remove this away from here So with our control 1 now, we can decide to just go ahead and get off, overlap this 100%. Then this one here, we can control it with a green color. So let's go over here and choose this greener color. So we can customize our green to be a little bit darker than this one. So let us use the dark version of the green like this. So this particular one here, we want to choose to use this color, right? Then this one, for we to be able to actually format the minimum value here, we just have to manually change this. So for that, we can't change it because it's an array. We can change it, of course. We can change it. Yeah, we can change it. Then I would love to click on this one here. Make sure this one is clicked on. Then we just have to go ahead and select the red color for the min value, right? So once we have done that now, we just have to go ahead and put our equal sign again and scale this down once more. Oh no. So we just have to put our equal sign here. We scale this down again. 100% correct. Can you see it now? So this one here, the red here, the green here, I'm not really feeling it. So let's select this. So what about this? If I Ctrl X now, I can take this over to here and paste it down. Then I want this to be at the bottom. So let us Ctrl 1. We can move this to anywhere we like. Then we'll create a space to see what we're doing. So no border. So over here, no grid line. I think that is done. So here we go. We have this over here. Properly sit it right here. So now, all we need now is to click on this one and turn on the data label. You know the drill. So if this one looks okay, it's not really looking okay. I think we have to be consistent rather. So being consistent is good. So over here, we just have to click and choose to put this over here. So confirm and make sure it's looking at this one. Then we have to go straight up to this particular part. So Ctrl 1, value from cell. Over here, we select this range. And now we click on OK. So we can now remove a value. Here we go. We have something like this. So once we have gotten this done, let us quickly go ahead and just Ctrl D. And over here, we're going to keep this right here. So I'm going to take this down. So what are we going to have on this? So this is going to be revenue breakdown by age segment. You see this right now. This is beautiful. The next thing we're going to do right now is something very easy. That is going to be the region performance. So region performance, we go over here. What if I actually select all of this here? And over here, I drop it down. I have the same exact thing here. And I'm going to come over here, right click and go to the field value, go to customer, take off age group and bring in region. So here we go, we have this. But unfortunately, this value here is not reflecting it. This is still looking at this particular part. So we just have to manually shift it to this part here. Hit our enter key and copy this down. So this one here too, we just have to remove this away from here, hit the enter key and copy this down. You look at that now. So now we can quickly create what we have created before from here by going over to insert, and here we go, we have this. So if you want to actually create it based on hierarchy, it's all a choice, but I just love to I think this is not really important. This is not important. If this is not important, then there is no point in we creating this. And this one now can be gone, right? We don't need to create any highlights. So we can just create normal inserts, normal chart like this one here. Then remove this and right click to have this one hidden. Then we take off this particular one from here. The grid line should be gone. The title should be gone. Then over here, we're going to come back here and we do sorting. The sorting now should be from largest to smallest. So once you've done that, here we go, we have this. So quickly we turn on the data label for this and you select this one here. You control 1, then you save from value. We just select this range, then we pick up the customers. We have a lot of customers, so we can't use all of them. So we want to actually specify those customers that are actually giving us, highest revenue. How do we do that? We just right click and we filter. We've done this before. We just go by, let's go with top 5 customers. We want to show our top 5 customers. This time around, we fix it to 5. With the top 5 customers, we are good to go. So now, over here, we just have to create our chart. So here is our top 5 revenue generated customers. So we can just go over here, no fill, no line. So we have something like this. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to actually go over to the top here. I'm going to create a line. So over here, we're going to create this particular line here. So this line here should be at the top here. Drag this line to this level here. So once we have this line here, the next thing we're going to do right now is to come over to our line and click on gradient. Once you're on gradient, we just have to have 3 stops. Remove one of the stops and keep this one in the middle of it. Once you have done that, this one now should actually pick this color here that we're using for our dashboard, while this one is going to pick up white, the color of our background. This one too should be white, the color of our background. Then come over here under the direction and choose this one that is going vertically. That is linear right. That is actually picking this color here. So now we can go to the width and increase the width to give us something like this. Can you see it now? So click on this and actually, work with the transparency. We don't want it to be too much. Something like this would be cool for the 8%, or you can actually do 40%. So 40%, nicely done. So with 40% now, we're good to go. I'm going to Ctrl D to duplicate it, bring it over here, and keep it somewhere around here. So it's a breaker. So can you see it now? This makes a lot of sense. So the question you might have in mind right now is that what is actually coming over here? So let's see. Over here now, I'm going to actually create into it over this particular spot. So sales contribution by gender. So we save this. Then this space here, will be used for something very important. Let us quickly go over here and create a circle. So hold your shift key to drag a perfect circle right in here. Not too huge, something like this to be cool. So no line. And over here, I'm going to keep this somewhere around here. So hold your shift key to readjust it like this. Okay. So once I've gotten this done now, the next thing I'm going to do is just to go over here and select this color. So let's just have it duplicated, move it and keep this over here. Select the lighter version of it. Something like this will look so cool. Okay, maybe by now you might have still not getting what exactly I'm about to do right here. Don't worry, you will get it. So this one should be here. So over here, I'm going to click and go to the top, align top. So now they will be equally aligned. Don't forget to save your work, it's very important. Otherwise, your Excel might just shut down and you lose everything. So once I've done this now, the next thing I'm going to do is just to go over to here and copy this particular part and drop it right here. So once I've done that, right click and go over to this and take off the name. We bring up the gender. Okay, now, just like what we have done before, we just want to show the percentage of this gender. Over here, I'm going to do a city. So we just have to say equals, divide by the sum of this whole number here. So Control 1, percentage. So you can see I flopped somewhere and that is not giving me what I want. So this is giving me 100%. That was because it's moving. We shouldn't have allowed it to move. That was why I always lock it down using the F4 key to lock this particular range here down. My F4 key. So if I go ahead and copy this down now, I have this. So what I'm going to do quickly is just to select this area and go ahead and create a chart that looks like this. So if you look at it right now, what is going on? This is not working. So right click, select, and over here, edit. This one here is for this. This one here is for this. So why is it not working? That means we have omitted one step. So what do? Then we just have to do R for remainder. Then we just have to do here 100%, subtract it from this. So equals 100% subtract from this. So it doesn't really matter if you don't format this. So you can just go ahead and use this. It's not a problem. So what I'm going to do now is just to go straight up to here, here, here. I have what I want, right? So if you look at it, I have what I want. Remove this one from here. This is my main percentage, is the blue one. I'm going to remove this one from here. So this one here, I don't need it. I'm going to just click on it and go over to color and say no fill. Then the border, no border, right? So click on this one and go over here once more. Make sure there is no border on it. So once we have confirmed this now, this one here is going to be a color we chose. So double click on this one to make sure this color is selected here. And here we go. So go over to this particular place here. Click over here. Reduce the size. We just want to create a thin this thing here. So let us Ctrl X to cut it. Over here, we can paste. So right now, this is where the whole work comes in. Resize this and make sure there is no background on this. Then we'll keep this over here. So you can aim at this, go back here. Let us keep this at 80 and let's see what happens. At 85. So at 85 looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna open it up a bit. Now try to centralize it. Something like this looks perfectly okay. Then Ctrl D to duplicate it. Bring this over here. So while this is here, right click on this and go over to select data. And now we just highlight this environment and we click on OK. So now we click over here to change the color to match the color of this circle. So Ctrl Z, make sure you double click on this particular part until this particular color here reflected here before you make any changes. So here we go, we have something like this. This is beautiful, right? So next again is for me to go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to type in male. So keep your male here. Keep another one here. Let us verify here. So female has the highest sales, 65. So here is going to be our female. So what I'm going to do right now is to just make sure I go over to here, this selection. So we select this environment so we can move it. Can you see it now? Beautiful. So escape key to remove it. Then we can now move this away, not to be too closer. So all we have to bring over here is the percentage that we're interested in. So we just go ahead and bring in the percentage contribution to revenue. So we bring the percentage contribution to revenue for male gender. So once we have them here, we can just go ahead and apply. So now here we go. We have almost everything we need. What is left right now is slicer and some couple of images that we have not added. So let us see how we can add it. We can actually get, icons from Excel without going to an external website. Let's quickly go over to Insert. From Insert, we go to Illustrations, then we click on Icons. So I can type in here, man. So I'm going to select this one. So type woman. And select this one over here. So both of them are here. All we have to do is just to resize them. So now we have to change the color. Ctrl 1, we click over here and we change, I think we're going to change one color. This female one here should be white color. Keep it here. So we choose white. This one with just 5%, I think 15%. This is cool. Then this one here should match the color of our background, which is this particular card background here. So we're going to select this particular color here. Nicely done. So what about this? But still, we can select a darker version of it. So let's go to more color. Let's bring this down to make it a little bit darker. Here we go, it pops out a lot. So what about this? This is something very interesting, right? So the next thing we're gonna do right now is to actually add some couple of slicers. And this is where you have to rename every single pivot table you have actually created, right? So clicking on this one right now, you can go over here and click on your pivot table analyzer. And over here, go to, click on this, go to design. No, I think it's pivot table. Yeah, over here is it. So you can just click on gender. So here is top customer. Top customer. So here you can name this one to region. So watch me rename all of them for a reason. This will actually give us a quick way to actually connect all our slicers so that we can actually subtract slicers from where we don't want to actually affect. So age, this is category. Category. So over here we have underperforming product under P. So this one will be top P for top product. We don't have to spend too much time on this. Just go ahead and rename everything. This one should be week type. So we name this one to week days or week names. So this is the year. So here is the month. Month 1. Month 2. So I think lastly we're going to have our KPI. So here is going to be our KPI cards. Okay, finally we have done this. So what are the sliders we want to have right on this? I want to have slider for category. So we go over to product. While we are on product, we can actually right click on this and we add a slicer for category. So the other slicer I'm going to add right now will be slicer for region. Let's go over to customer. We add slicer for region. Add a slicer. You can see. So the last slicer I'm going to add right now should be slicer for my age. Sorry, I said age. For here. So here we go. We have those 3 slicers. Ctrl X. Now we can quickly go over here and paste them in. All right, while we are here, the next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we actually fit this slicer at a place where it's going to be suitable for it. So I'm going to come over to this particular spot and we select 2 columns. While we have done that, we can just go ahead and resize it. So for the time being, keep this over here. So for region, we select, I think it's going to be 4. 4. So this can actually be here. This one now should be 5. This box here should actually contain 5 because we have 5 items on it. So here we go. So what I'm going to do right now is to actually right click on this and go to slider settings. Then we actually have to deselect the display header, hide anyone without data. So you can actually go ahead and bring it down this way and move it up like this. Then this one, do the same thing to it. Right click and go to slider settings here. Then the header, have this one hidden, then click on OK. And go ahead and move it up. Okay, so we can do the same thing to this particular one. Right click and go to slider settings here. Hide anyone without data or with no data. So we just have to. So this one is going to be somewhere around here. So once we have gotten all of this here, this is not really cool right now. First of all, let us actually go ahead and connect it. Go to report connection. So report connection now, this is where we have to connect our slicers. So we're going to connect our slicer to gender, connect to category, month 1, month 2. No, we don't want to actually connect to those months. It's not going to be suitable for it. So that was why we named it, so that we can know which pivot table we are going to connect or not. So, and extract it from here. So we go ahead and close. I'll click on OK. So when I click on this right now, so my dashboard has been filtered. Exclude this one because already we have splitted the years, right? So right now we can go to view. From view, we can go to here, and now we can see everything at the same time. So let us go ahead and actually connect this one too. We go to report connections. While we are here, just stretch it to see everything. So we're going to connect it to age. This is actually our category. We are not going to connect it to category. So, but every other pivot table right here will actually have connection to category. So click on OK. So everything looks fine. Then lastly, the region should be connected to other pivot table, exclude region. So what do we do? So don't click on region. You can see everything we have done here is something very simple. So if you select any region now, your whole dashboard will be filtered based on the region selected. So can you see this now? So with this now, you can actually come around here and play around this to shift it inside a little bit. This is where you have to start working on this particular part. Push it inside, click on this one, and manually push this inside, not to let it extend out of the frame. So we have this. The color here is not really nice. So select the background to investigate what is the color you have for your background. I'm talking about the main background. So let's go over here, go to home, click on this particular part. This is the color. So if you have known that, let's quickly click on this. Right click and go over to, click over here, slicer, then duplicate one of the slicer, modify it. So once you click on modify, you can modify any one of them here, any one of them. I can decide to modify this particular one here. Right click and click on duplicate. Then once you duplicate it, you can actually go ahead and say whole slicer, format it. Then no, there should be no border. Click here to remove the border. The fill color should actually be this particular one here. So if I click on OK right now and click on OK here, I'm going to go over and select this one here. So look at it. If I select this one, oh, what happens? There is nothing working here yet. Okay, it doesn't seem to work. Let's just go ahead and do it again. So I think it's on this one. Yeah, it's working. It's on that one, which is on this second one here. It's working. So this one now, if it works here, it's not going to look pretty nice. So we have to create Maybe. Okay, I think this one looks okay. So what is happening right now is that this particular color here that highlights what is selected for us is not really cool at all. So we have to make sure we are using this particular color. Let us copy this particular color code. Go over to more colors here. And the color code is this particular hex code here. So if you don't have hex code on your Excel version, you can actually use the RGB. Try to remember it. So going back to the top ribbon, click on the slicer first. So now we are going to go to slicer, right click on this, and now we are going to modify, not to duplicate any longer. Once we modify, for whole slicer is okay. For selected item with data, we click on format. We go for border, we say no border. We go to fill, we say, okay, we want to change the fill. Go to more colors, and over here, we just type in this. I've just pasted it in. Can you see now? So now we click on OK right here. So for unselected item with data, what do we want? We just go for format. We say no border to it, no border. And the fill color should actually be the same color of the background, which is this very one here, right? So on the font, we can actually put italic because they are not selected. Or still leave it as regular and now change the color not to be too bright. So it's going to fade a little bit into the dark, into the background. So here we go. Whatever is not selected here, this is how it's going to look like. So now whatever is not selected is on a gray. So the selected one now, the color should actually be white. So what do? We go back and modify the existing one. Right click, go to modify, and selected item with data, we click on format, we go over to font, we click on this, and we choose white. Then we click on OK. So now here we go. No. What is happening? It's not changing. Maybe we've not done the right thing. Let's go back and modify this for the last time. Modify. Selected item with data. Format. Font should be white. So now, can you see it now? This is what we have right here. This is what we have right here. So if we want this particular place that is picking up the background color for this now to actually be white, what we can do is just to go over here, and instead of us to create another one, you can right click here and duplicate it. Once you duplicated it, you can actually go to whole slicer, format, and you choose to actually have white like this for the background. So click on OK. Once you have done that, let's go back and choose this new format. Here is it. Can you see it now? This is how it looks. So can you see what we have done right now? Everything here looks pretty nice. Select 2023. Here you go. Select home appliances. So let us go to the East region. Then you have your whole dashboard giving you exactly what you want. So what we have to do is to do away with the gradient, the grid line we have right on this chart. It's not too visible, but I'm not going to allow that. So everything looks perfectly okay right here, and this is what you need to know how to create. So my course will teach you more than what you have learned from here, and I believe this project will definitely help you to master Microsoft Excel and everything you need to know when you want to actually create reports and dashboards. So see you in the next videos.